So we had a clergy in the studio in the previous hour. Now we have a politician in this hour. Before we welcome her into the studio and onto the show, let's hear the day's proverb, City.
Yes, our next proverb is from Namibia, as will be the next two proverbs after today from the country of Namibia. If you want to make God laugh, tell him about your future plans.
If you want to make God laugh, tell him about your future plans.
Yes.
Yani God can laugh. It will appear so.
The writer of this particular proverb seems to believe so, that God has a sense of humor.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mheshimiwa Alice WAHOME is the MP for Kandara constituency. Good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest...
Yeah, I'm just hearing about that. Make God laugh.
Yes.
By giving your plans for the future. Asante sana. Thank you very much
How
for inviting me.
How do you contextualize that proverb?
I don't know. Because we are created in the image of God, it is possible to agree that God may laugh and also may get angry, because it is said also in the Bible that many times he would get angry and do things that were destructive, deliberately to clear.
He would do damage.
Yes, he would do destruction, real destruction. So that means if he can get angry, it's also possible to make him smile.
Yes, he also has a sense of humor.
He has a sense of humor.
Welcome to the hot seat of
Thank
Kenya's
you.
biggest conversation.
Thank you.
We've had you on video link before
It's
and
been,
on the phone, but never here
it's
in
been
person.
a long time. Yes, I'm here today. And I'm glad to be here to speak with Kenyans here. Thank you for looking for me.
Karibu.
I've come from the constituency, actually. I was just saying that actually you should make sure that I be paid to come here, because it's a very valuable time. And it's quite it's quite a challenge to get away from the campaign trails. Yeah, but also we must let Kenyans know what is happening and what we are doing.
Indeed, you must. I see you removed your scarf and you'd come here very much
Yeah,
on
because
brand.
it's so cold outside. So, and you said here is the hot seat, so preparing for the heat.
It's going to be warm.
Yes.
So, Kenya Kwanza campaigns. You're right at the center of the Kenya Kwanza campaign with UDA.
Yeah.
So, you're going to have several conversations, especially focusing on Kenya Kwanza and Mount Kenya region. Your principal was in Mount Kenya, has been in Mount Kenya, was in Meru yesterday campaigning. Headlines today and yesterday is the DP and the war words between the president and his deputy, or the deputy speaking to the president, and yesterday him saying, you know what, Mr. President, we are not competing, so you just take a chill pill. Let me deal with Raila myself. And Raila himself also responding and saying, he's talking as if I fear him. I don't fear him. We're going to be dealing with this. Now, this Kenya Kwanza, we're hearing people telling us that since the choice of the running mates, Kenya Kwanza chose Rigathi Gachagua. Azimio chose Martha Karua, both focusing their attention on Mount Kenya. Has it had an impact?
Eric, if you want to go to Mombasa, you hire a driver, or you are a driver, or you get a driver for either for a free ride or a proper ride. For you to reach Mombasa, it will depend on that driver. A lot of extent to the driver's skills, energy, ability to take you to Mombasa, to steer the vehicle. We are talking about the executive authority of this country, and that is held without any delegation. Actually, the executive authority to the deputy president is basically to assist. So the executive still retains the authority, the executive authority. So the country is led by a head of state, the president. And therefore, the question of a deputy running mate, actually, any of them could have chosen you, Eric, or me, as you saw, I was almost getting there. Or do any of us in this room. As long as the executive authority, the president, the head of state, understands their role, have come up with their plan, agenda for the country, it is going to be possible to execute and to lead, do your 5 years, and deliver on your manifesto, like we have put it in our Kenya Kwanza. Of course, you need assistance of all these people around you. The state organs are necessary. I don't think if you are a strong, capable president, a running mate will be of major consequence.
Are you
it
saying
is true you
Rigathi
need a
Gachagua
running
is
mate.
inconsequential?
I'm not saying he's inconsequential. I'm saying let us not be distracted by the focus of a running mate. Otherwise, I think that the questions of a running mate, the reason why even before we had a vice president who was basically an appointee of the president, meaning that you need somebody you can trust. I'm very confident that Rigathi Gachagua is equal to the task, and he will deliver as an assistant of William Samoei Ruto. He's well-spoken, he's gone to school, he knows the issues and the agenda of William Ruto. He understands it. Most of it now put in our manifesto. And that agenda of William Ruto is not personal. It's actually the people of Kenya's agenda. You know, we have done 47 economic forums. And the elections we are going this particular time is actually a question of what will you do with our economy so that you get us back on track. We are completely off the track.
You know,
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa WAHOME,
Yeah.
you're a senior lawyer.
Correct.
Seasoned. So you've dodged my question nicely. Now I'm going to bring you back to the question.
You asked me
Before,
whether he's
so let me
of any
contextualize
consequence.
it. Let me bring it now from a different
Bring
angle.
it on.
Before the announcement of the running mates, before the announcement of Rigathi Gachagua and Martha Karua, the people of Mount Kenya region were strongly campaigning that a running mate should come from Mount Kenya region. That you would be able to galvanize and to mobilize your people to come out to vote, because the people of Mount Kenya feel that they have skin in the game. They have somebody that they are getting up to support. And that's why the choices, for example, that were on the table for William Ruto included Alice Wahome, Professor Kithure Kindiki,
Anne
Waiguru,
JB Muturi.
JB Muturi, Rigathi Gachagua.
Yeah.
Mount Kenya. Okay? Rigathi Gachagua was picked. On the other side, Martha Karua, Sabina Chege, and the others. Martha Karua,
Kalonzo.
Kalonzo Musyoka, and the Mombasa governor, Ali Hassan Joho. Martha
Actually,
Karua was picked.
there was only Hassan Joho and Kalonzo Musyoka. Karua came later.
See, but she ended up being there.
Yeah. Yes.
Question is, the choice of those two, has it had any impact on the ground from what you're hearing? And here we are talking about honesty. Yeah?
Candid
Candid conversation.
Yes.
Has the choice of Rigathi Gachagua galvanized more the people who are supporting William Ruto and those that were undecided and those maybe who are on the other side of Raila Odinga?
There are still some voters who are not yet decided. I don't know. They must be looking for different things. And that always happens during elections. And this is the clerks, this is really the time they'll be making those decisions. And if you look at the changes and the running mates that have been appointed, you asked me why Mount Kenya. Of course, if you are really looking for an office where a vote will count, it is not possible to ignore the Mount Kenya region vote, including those in the Kenyan diaspora, because it is standing at 5 point plus, 5.8. So therefore, in the first instance, it's about ensuring that you consolidate that vote behind yourself. William Ruto has had that support. Over 80% of the Mount Kenya region vote, with or without a running mate, he will get it. But even before the appointment of the running mate, he did have complete support because of the record that he has created since 2013. And therefore, I want to tell you, our vote, look at it from the beginning. The unsettling of maybe, because of course there are expectations from people. in terms of in fact, the question was, will he land on Mount Kenya or will he land elsewhere? Because he could also have landed elsewhere. And of course, we were also campaigning that it should land in Mount Kenya. And every region really has an interest, and it is important to understand that you try and carry the majority of the voters who will determine who will sit in office for head of state. So I will tell you from where I come from our voter base, there is no change. We were never. The people supporting Martha Karua are the people, and Raila, because of Martha Karua, are the people who were supporting Uhuru. So there is no change. Uhuru doesn't have the solid vote he used to have. He won't have it because he's not a candidate.
What's the drawing
Karua
factor?
herself, even when she ran, maybe she had about 30,000 votes. I think if she's able to bring anything more, it could be possibly a similar number or slightly higher than that. But it will not eat into our vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, what is the drawing factor? What is that magnetism that you're saying that Deputy President William Ruto already has this likability factor, the votes in Mount Kenya? It doesn't matter who the running mate would have been, that the people of Mount Kenya had already adhered themselves to him. What is that? What is that thing?
Actually, the first thing is the fact that he did stand. He stood with William Samoei Ruto. According to Mount Kenya, he stood with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta during the last 2 elections. And you see, it wasn't a very easy period for the two of them to get 2 terms. And he stood loyal, he persisted, he campaigned, and most of the campaign teams were actually being led by him personally. Putting everything into works, and thereafter, of course, he has persistently, he has been the person who has been sent. He has been the person who has maybe filled the gap when the president is also not available. He has been seen to be the right-hand person that made Uhuru first secure his 2 terms, as they agreed, but also enabled him to retain the favor of the people, because you also need to carry the people along after you have. So I think that the works he has done, the development record, the visits he has come to Mount Kenya have not been in vain, and he has not just come to talk. He comes with government projects.
How do you differentiate between what the deputy president did and what the president did when we know that their tenure is a presidency?
We are not saying that we are differentiating or comparing the two. We are saying, yes, it was a presidency. So it is possible to see William Ruto in the successes that we made, in the work that was done by the presidency. And he is the person who was there. I mean, there are relationships. We have created very serious bonds and relationships with William Ruto. The fact that he has come to Mount Kenya as many times as we required him to come, my own constituency, I can tell you, Kandara, he has come not less than 4 times, and with government projects. So you cannot quite ignore or say,
and this is between 2018 and now.
No. He did come even last term. Yes. I'm like combined maybe 4 times, 5 times. Yeah.
Between 2018 and now, how many times has he come to Kandara?
He has come 2019. He has come when he was being tear gassed in a church. He came recently he came to launch my TTI and also to commission it. Those are twice. He has done Harambee for two schools for me. That's 3 times. This particular term, he has done 3 times, and he has sent me maybe once or twice in activities that concern the people. And last term, once.
Those are numerous visits to at least a single constituency. So you can say, into the entire Mount Kenya region, the deputy president has really made very many visits.
He has visited
with development projects.
All the constituencies in Mount Kenya.
With development projects.
Yes.
Some coming to commission, coming to inspect development projects.
Maybe just even church. alone, maybe development charge
Yeah.
project.
So he's been involved in development
Yes.
over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Since 2018 to now. He's been involved in the development
Since 2013.
of Mount Kenya. I just want to focus on 2018 to now.
I think it would be wrong to focus on 20.
Okay,
just
from
2018.
2013
I think
to
from
2022.
2013. Indeed, the first term, he was the very able person that the president found necessary to commit to make those errands, call them errands, development errands. Yeah.
To inspect projects.
Yes. Launch, inspect, largely maybe to commission. Not so, launch or commission them.
So essentially,
To take off.
we are saying that these were government projects.
That's okay.
No, I'm just asking. They were government projects. They were-
He has done personal projects, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. He has also done personal with his own money.
So then, as the deputy president of the nation, you could say that he divided his time disproportionately. Because if he visited Mount Kenya that often, can we then say that, for instance, areas like the northeastern province that we know are marginalized, places that have issues with drought, places that have issues with banditry, who require similar attention from the deputy president because they are Kenyans, did not receive the same attention?
I wouldn't say so. Sometimes also, it depends on who is inviting. He doesn't just come. You need to initiate either a project or you need to be able to... it's not that...
No, really.
Yes,
He's
yes.
he's the
No.
president
What
of the
I'm
whole
saying,
nation.
you see, the government has plans.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean those areas don't have government projects. The fact that he hasn't gone there doesn't mean that there are no government projects going on. And of course, also members of parliament facilitate sometimes or make the enabling environment available for a visitor, even if it is deputy president. Doesn't mean that the projects are not going on, but you may wish to have somebody else launch your project. It's not everybody. I mean, we have projects going on in Western Kenya, in Nyanza, in Coast, in Northeastern.
We do. But
Yes.
let me draw a parallel with what
Yes.
I'm trying
So
to say.
you are trying to say that it is just Mount Kenya. I'm sorry,
No,
I don't.
I am
think so.
saying it's disproportionate. And I'll give you an example of why I'm saying it's disproportionate. Every time we hear that the interior minister has visited a place, it's usually a place that has security issues. You'll hear he's gone to Mombasa. You'll hear he has gone to Marsabit.
That's his docket.
Precisely.
Yes.
And he goes there because there is a need.
Yes.
And he goes when it's clear that the apparatus that the government has put in place doesn't seem to be doing what they're supposed to do, and he's gone there to bolster it.
Yeah, presence helps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My point exactly.
Yes.
And I'm saying that when somebody with the position of the deputy visits a place, it is not an ordinary visit.
It's a presidency visit.
Yes, it goes a long way in showing the importance that is placed on the place he is visiting. That is really the point I'm trying to make. Because that presence tells you priority has come. It requires this level of attention. That is all I was saying.
Well, can we go to the point? What I have just told you is
Yes.
that for Deputy President to come to Kandara, I took the initiative personally to invite him. I could have had a government project because like the TTI is a government project.
Yes.
But I know for me to have it and then to have it commissioned,
Yes.
I needed to look for somebody to have it profiled. And then that was really the main reason. And since then, sometimes when you profile, as you are saying, it's important. The presence is important. And even the president himself, I think he has missed many opportunities, if you asked me, to visit different places of the country. I don't know what held the president, but I think it is important that if you look at the campaign trails, they are very busy, the schedules are very tight, and there are many, you stop over, you do this. I think a president, unless health doesn't allow, should equally, even if not as many, visit as you would like, at least make key important visits to ensure that you are following up on the projects, launching of the projects. And in fact, some of the contractors get, of course, very uneasy when they know a presidency will visit. So they will put more effort to complete. So what I'm saying, I did personal initiative to invite the deputy president. Other visits is because the church itself directly would even invite him. And by the way, many churches he has gone is not necessarily the members of parliament. But you see, of course, you know, political goodwill is important, even from a county member of the assembly, you know.
So when he was
generally, he would want to engage those leaders.
I think it's important here in the room this morning because you obviously one of the front runners in this campaign. Kenya Kwanza, I mean, you've obviously been selected as one of the torchbearers, right?
Yeah.
Now, when he was doing these visits, was he doing it in his capacity as the deputy president? You've insisted we talk from 2013 until 2022. Was he doing these visits? Was he going about visiting these development projects at your insistence, at the insistence of others, in his capacity as deputy president?
Can I first say that William Ruto is not the first government officer to visit government projects or even to launch. Every government officer who is in a position of responsibility, that is either managing or entrusted to work in government office and have a responsibility to implement, actually, there is no hindrance. I mean, because I have even had 2 ministers visit my own constituency.
Okay.
At my invitation, I have had the Matiang'i coming, not at my invitation, to maybe launch some housing project for the police. Unfortunately, they are still incomplete 5 years down the line.
Okay. But
what I'm saying...
Was he doing this in his capacity as deputy president?
What are you asking?
Exactly.
Whatever he did.
Whenever he came to visit, through all of these visits that
he
did,
serves as a deputy president. He serves as a deputy president.
Okay, so
yes.
he was doing this in his capacity as deputy president.
I said he has visited at personal level. And don't actually underrate the visits to the churches because they are as many as government as those other government projects.
Yes.
Indeed, in most cases, I think like the Sundays you have seen him, those are normally a visit which are personal.
Okay.
So when he came because of government projects, he has explained himself in very in-depth, very deep interviews and said, yeah, I take credit. I also take, issues where we don't deliver.
So, please, baby. So, where I'm going with this is
yes,
there have been several arguments that he has been pushed out of government. And you've said just now that he actually was doing this in his capacity as deputy president.
Yes.
So, he has been fulfilling his duty, according to you, as the deputy president of the country. He has not actually then been pushed out.
Some of those is personal initiative, let me tell you, because if you look at the statements, even by the head of state, you need to be told, even if somebody was to render you irrelevant, there is still work you can do. But the head of state himself has expressed himself and said he feels that he has not been assisted by the deputy president. How then do I sit here to say William Ruto was not pushed? Indeed, there are clips, the president saying, now Raila Odinga, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, is in government. What role would he play or where would he be? So I don't think we need to have an argument that William Ruto has been utilized by his principal, the head of state, sufficiently the way he ought to have been utilized. The man has energy. The man has time. The man can plan. I mean, he works with time. And, he can do 10, 15 meetings in a day effectively. So what I'm saying, I think he could have done much more. There are those, when I told you, like I invited him to come, that was not because he was sent by the president. There are areas that the president could have used his office, the deputy president's office, by go do this. Some of these many projects you see is because MPs are either involved one way or the other or have facilitated just like pushed the government to bring those. And sometimes you visit the minister's office, you kind of call for a question so that the minister works on your need, or you visit the deputy president's office and 1 or 2 calls, things happen faster than they ought to happen, which shouldn't be necessarily the case, because once you budget, really implementation should be processed by way of time And with it,
Should be automatic.
it should be automatic, but it's not always automatic. Government bureaucracy and laziness still continues to be a challenge in this country. I want to say that the deputy president moves things, makes things happen faster. For me, my experience is that he would, and not just for me, for any person who worked there, by the way, including members in the opposition, they did benefit a lot from his office. Yes.
Let's take a break.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Eric Latif Ndu Oko, CT Muga, and our guest this morning is the Honorable Alice WAHOME, Kandara MP. We're here talking about the Kenya Kwanza campaign and the campaigns as we head towards general election. 35 days to the election. And remember, it is what? We are gunning for peaceful campaigns. Nothing at all about violence. We saw violence, remember, like you're saying, those small incidences of violence that would sprout out somewhere, church service, because of a disagreement on who is attending a church service and such. But the general message here is that all of us know August 9th is coming. We shall elect our leaders from MCA all the way to the president, and then we shall move on with our life and start holding those leaders accountable. It's about peaceful campaigns, isn't it?
All of us
Yes.
should work towards peaceful campaigns. But the highest responsibility to ensure that the campaigns are peaceful also, there is the people who are seeking electoral positions, because they are part and parcel, and they can make it impossible, and they can be part of the planning of violence. So we all must adhere to the code of conduct. We must know this is our country. We must completely deal with the question of violence. Of course, there are people who are more prone to planning violence, but these particular areas and cases that I can see myself, many of those have been state funded. Many of those have been state funded. The one in Jacaranda twice, state funded. The ones that the recently that occurred, I don't know whether it's an accident or somebody planned. The one that occurred in Kisii, where Mother Karua was a guest. It looks like individual, but it is not possible for a police officer, unless we have been told he's bizarre, that it would be a police officer just throwing tear gas into a meeting that didn't appear like there was chaos. But of course, police have thrown tear gas there before to our campaigns. Many, when we were doing our by-elections in London, in Nakuru, I know they did it in Bukungu before. They did it in Kisii. They have done in, we were stoned in Nyeri around Chaka. There was violence in Kandara. 2 people died. Today, the office of the IG, the DCI, have not taken anybody to court. And I know, as a matter of fact, when they did investigations, they found those who were funding or those who funded it. There are people in very in positions, in political positions even today.
Mheshimiwa,
Yes.
would you say that given what you've stated about or alluded to with regards to the relationship of the president and his deputy, that the party you subscribe to, the party,
UTA?
yes,
Yes.
is functioning right now as a party in the opposition?
We are a new party. We are not a party in the opposition, but we are saying things as they are, and we are speaking. Maybe you can say some of the things we are doing, because there is also absence of opposition are helping, but we cannot rightfully, under our structure, call ourselves opposition. You can say the things we are doing are things that an opposition party would do, but we are not rightfully an opposition party. We are going to form the government on 9th of August. Yeah.
Why I ask the question
Yeah.
is because how then, if you do form the government, will you deal with what you've just described? Because everything you've described is a treatment that the state has often given those in opposition. Tear gassing them, everything to the last T. So if that then is what, as you describe, is what has happened to you, it is from that I have surmised that even if
It's
you
a
do-
practice of government.
it is a practice of government to those who are in the opposition.
It has never been right from the time Kenyans were seeking for multi-party democracy, the struggles that we have gone through.
Actually, it starts
it
with-
has
it starts with-
never.
it starts with
Even
independence.
independence, it has
Yes.
never been right, including proscribing Mau Mau
Yes.
as an illegal movement.
Yes.
When you know it's actually was a freedom, or call it a freedom party, though not registered.
Yes.
Really, a freedom movement. It has never been right then. It has never been compensated. You know, people have never been compensated, even today. The Mau Mau people have been struggling. The land that they looked for or were fighting for has been taken over by state capture, by other people. It would not be right if we form government. So I personally would not be part of a government that will start hurting, killing, extrajudicial killings, and dealing with people as if Kenyans are criminals, even when you are holding meetings. Let me tell you, I think it is very wrong for a meeting to be disrupted or police to be sent to come and disrupt a political meeting. No government that is secure or thinks right or is planning and doing things according to the law should be that, should do that. Indeed, the government should bring security to a meeting just in case the people themselves, you know, and most of these times, of course, during a period like this, you will see groups conflicting or wanting to fight. And that's why we should never share a platform, especially campaign period. We don't share platforms, especially if it is my platform, keep away from it. Your platform, I keep away from it. And of course, schedules have been filed with the returning officers in every constituency. And even when routes seem to clash, you are given different hours or you are told, can you change yours to the following day? So what I'm saying, the government should not use police to cause fear
Yes.
or to arrest people. Indeed, one of the things we shall remove as a government is to remove any arrests on a Friday so that by the Constitution, you are not able to be released within 24 hours. That must stop.
You as Alice WAHOME, you have a beautiful track record of being a fighter for rights. That is a constant. You have that reputation, there's a track record. Anyone who wants to follow it can follow it. But the very things that you have described, if you look at now the Azimio flag bearer who was then in the opposition, and the time when this very same government during his first term leading to 2017, when he was agitating, the things that you've described happened to him. Your current leader was then in power. Are there things we can attribute to him opposing such things by the government? Things that if we look at can give us confidence that when he is in power, should he be in power, he's the sort of person who will stand against it. Because the things you say happened and we saw it happening. And 2017 is the recent past. It's not a long distance past.
You know, by our constitution, these things should not be happening and will not happen. As far as if they happen, we will be able to tell him it is wrong and you will not do it.
You know, my respect for you has gone even a notch higher.
Yeah.
You've avoided my question judiciously. So let me ask it again.
No, I haven't. I have answered. You have told you. You want me to talk. By the way, have you ever invited William Ruto here?
We have tried.
Maybe you
some
can
of
help
these
us
questions.
understand
We
the
have
invitation.
tried.
Some of these questions,
We have
because I
tried.
had told you,
We have tried.
the vehicle reaching a journey to the end
Is the driver.
is the driver.
Yes,
Some
yes.
of the questions you are asking me, you need to, you need to direct him personally, one-on-one.
Actually,
I agree 100%. And it
Yes,
would be
because we must hold these people to account.
you see, the question I'm asking
Yes.
doesn't require the deputy president. You see, I'm asking
No.
an observation.
What
In
you're
the time.
asking me, will
Yes.
his government
Yes.
actually adhere to the law?
I am pinning it.
Yes.
Actually, you've summarized it well.
Yes,
Precisely.
adhere to the law.
Yes.
His government should adhere to the law
okay.
and must adhere to the law. And if it doesn't, Kenyans must keep the government in check, must criticize, and the results or consequences should not be unlawful. Arrest should not be criminalization of politicians because they are speaking. The work of a politician is actually and all of members of parliament, really, their biggest role right now is oversighting the government.
Sure.
Whether you are in government or you are in the
Opposition.
minority.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
take a snapshot
So-
then. Let's take a snapshot into Kandara
So
specifically.
you have tried to invite him. That's what you are saying.
Yes, and maybe you can take our message to him. It would be
Yes,
really
I
great
will,
then
definitely.
an opportunity for him
Today,
to come and be in the room with us.
Yes.
And we can follow up on that with you.
Yes.
But then let's take a snapshot into Kandara. You're running again for Member of Parliament amongst 14 other people, right? Last week, there was a manifesto that was put out by Kenya Kwanza. So now let's zero in into Kandara. Would it reflect the same of what you would hope to do? Or are we looking at something totally different? Just before you came, 7:00, we had a discussion with the provost of the Anglican Church. And he said to us something very clearly, that it should mirror across board. It should mirror, if this is what you want to do at the very top, it should trickle through and through if you're part of a
It is
particular
not,
association.
ours is not trickling from the top. May I remind you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We are bottom.
Got it. So,
yes.
are you going?
Yes, so we
what
will
we've
start.
seen then
Yes,
in terms of the Kenya Kwanza
Yes.
Alliance at the
Yes.
top,
Yes.
did it then start from you, for example?
We have held an economic forum in Muranga at Kakoigo Maragwa constituency, which we have done in every other county. And that was a county forum where people from Kandara and all the other 6 constituencies, total 7 constituencies, attended and made presentations. In fact, one of the coffee farmers who really made very good contributions, who are languishing, because farmers are languishing in poverty, came from Kandara. So it will mirror, and it should mirror. The plan is very simple, that we have a new economic model that then focuses on where the majority of the people we are saying we need to change their lives, we need to touch their lives, we need to improve the economy, we need to have food on their tables, we need to have services, be it water, be it food, be it health, there at the bottom. So Kandara would benefit, because we're also talking about funds that are national funds, but that will focus on medium, small enterprises, medium and small enterprises, macro, medium, small enterprises, talking about Mama Boga, the small shop owner, the small farmer. We are talking about agriculture, increasing production, so that then when you talk about production of, say, for example, very simple examples we have given, a farmer who has 1 simple cow or 2 cows is milking, maybe getting 3 liters to 5 liters per day, because the feeds are not affordable, or they are not available, or that they cannot be able to access the markets. That farmer, given the necessary feeds, proper feeds, not adulterated feeds, will then triple their milk production to maybe double to 10 liters. Instead of earning maybe 1,000 a day, they earn 2,000 a day. So we have a very, and I hope you have been able to go through our manifesto. When you look at it, unless we want to tell us what we are doing is right, and it cannot be right if 85% of Kenyans then are not having jobs or not having enough income, and that we are now not even able to access health services. So something is completely gone wrong. Our debt has completely gone out of the bounds. We have borrowed beyond what Parliament even allowed, and we had to work backwards, to admit money that was borrowed without authority. And I can tell you, authority of Parliament to be accepted to come within the national debt. So we have looked at before that big mega projects like the gun factory with 4 billion employing only 100 people. Same amount of money, invest in coffee farmer or tea farmer, you will likely get up to 15 billion with the same money. We are not saying we don't need big factories, but even when we think out of an investment or a project that will spend Kenyan money, we must worry and find out how many jobs will it create. Because we also need the big investments, but we must know, will they be investments that will create jobs. If they are in textile, how will then that be able to start? How many farmers are you looking at who will feed into, not the other way around, not that the factory will employ 2,000 people. We want to hear that factory will be supplied by maybe 100 or 50,000 farmers, so that then we can invest there, and it will employ another maybe 3,000 people. That way, then you'll be able to answer to the question of both those who don't have and those we need to change their lives, where we need to take the money.
So it's a multiply effect.
Yes.
Some of the commentary that has come out of those who have looked into this manifesto has been the silent way in which the manifesto has treated the issue of corruption. Acknowledgement of corruption as a vice, acknowledgement of what corruption has done to the amount of money that is budgeted every year and where the money goes, and then the plans of how to deal with corruption. Maybe you can address that.
Maybe they needed to tell us who has spoken about corruption and what they have done about corruption now. You see, when you look at Azimio, it's the current government. It's the transition and succession of Uhuru Kenyatta is into Azimio. So they cannot be the ones criticizing our manifesto on the question of corruption, because they needed to answer the question of corruption from 2013 to current. So then when I come to how we have treated the same question, we have said we shall strengthen the institutions. You see, what has happened and why we have failed is because of chronism, is because of state capture, and because we have politicized corruption. For these last 10 years, the people who support Uhuru are okay. And I'm talking about Uhuru because he's my president. And eventually the buck will stop at him. You see, you may want to say somebody else, but the authority of this country, then the buck and the whatever garbage we shall have will stop at his door. Because once you take a job, you must accept responsibility. If this spice fails and you are the drivers, there is no way you are going to say it's Alice who came one day. You will say, oh, there is something we didn't do right. So we have treated corruption squarely, and we have addressed the question, how do you deal with it? And you must deal with it in a manner that the institutions that are because it will continue to happen unless we work on our infrastructure. The institutions of governance in this country don't work. The judiciary has to keep on begging for funds. They don't have enough courts. People cannot access courts, and administration of justice means that you have enough facilities to work on it. That judges are also independent.
Specifically, how will Kenya
William
Kwanza
Ruto has spoken
the judiciary?
Has spoken himself personally, and Kenya Kwanza has captured that the judiciary will have its fund well funded as required in the constitution, because the independence starts with financial independence. Eric, you know that. But you have no information. And then, of course, the appointment of judges and enough personnel. So that then, if these cases of corruption reach court, one, they need to be dealt with properly without interference. One way not to interfere is that the judges don't need to look at their back. Oh, tomorrow I may be taken, also arrested. You have seen also judges being humiliated and arrested politically because which judge has been found guilty? Politicization of even the judiciary affecting their tenure. We have the DCI. DCI has done nothing for the last 5 years other than running after people he feels or he has been told these people are supporting William Ruto. He has done nothing else. Which cases
so
we need? You needed to call them here, for example, or to hold them to account on how many cases have they successfully prosecuted.
They will tell you they don't have prosecutorial powers.
No.
All they can do is investigate as the DCI.
Thank God, Muga, that you have raised that issue. The reason why prosecutorial powers were removed from the police is the same reason that before people were arrested, held in communicando, and not taken to court on time, And of course, trumped up charges because the police will be the investigating officers, they will be the arresting officers, and they will be the prosecuting
What
the
will Kenya
prosecutors.
Kwanza
So
do specifically
we split that so
with
that we
that
can
issue
have
of DCI?
separation. You see, the DCI right now, his business is to do proper investigations. He should be asking for a state-of-the-art lab, you know,
Which was launched the other day.
which was just launched the other day. I don't know whether it's a state-of-the-art, but eventually it was launched.
We were told
So
it
that,
is a
yes, we were
state-of-the-art.
told, yeah, we don't know. We need to interrogate. And of course, we need to see results because there is a lot of investment that we have put in place. So he needs to have clean files, good files, no politics, before he takes those cases to the prosecutor, who is the DPP. And indeed, you have seen a fight between them and the DPP. I think the DPP, to be very honest, have done maybe a much better job in terms of refusing to be held captive by the DCI, because the roles are different and the DPP roles are in the Constitution. The roles of even the DCI, I mean, they investigate, take the file if you have evidence, let an independent body then prosecute. Then the court also is independent. And that's, you need to separate, ensure the DCI also has enough personnel, has enough infrastructure to help him carry out, do his job, because also you don't also deny him sufficient, you can also destabilize or disable the DCI, but you need to create proper environment for them, infrastructure, and then before they go to DPP, the most of the things that he needs is actually personnel, prosecutors, because he cannot do the job without enough lawyers, properly trained lawyers. And of course, with the EACC, I don't know, EACC we should disband. Clearly, because it has not delivered all these years.
Mheshimiwa, come again. And let's talk about the issue of integrity in the next conversation, right?
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. The Honorable Alice WAHOME is the MP for Kandara.
You haven't told me anything about Kandara constituency. Of course.
That was it, the bottom up.
Bottom up. Yes. I'm coming back. The good thing is that I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
We hope the next time we see you, you'll come here with a gunia of avocados from Kandara.
It's one of our largest crops now.
Yes.
We are
and we hear you're dealing with thugs on a daily basis in the farms, which is a sad thing. But say hello to the people of Kandara.
Thugs. It is poverty. Once bottom up comes, these people will be engaged in serious work. Thank you.